Welcome back, everyone, to the final episode of Inside Utica University Football. I'm Little C, as always, your host. I'll have Coach Blaise Faggiano here in just a little bit. Excited to talk to Coach. I felt like I kept saying this throughout the year, but it was like, we got 2 more weeks left, 1 more week left, and here we are now at the final show of the season. It's been a really fun show. Happy that Coach allowed me to do this, and I know I'll get into all that as we go. If you're following on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe, share the channel. I will say this, very happy with the shows across all the shows throughout the season, all social media platforms, well over 40,000 viewers, and that's across all the platforms, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts for the podcast listeners, and then social media. We were about 4,000 or 5,000 views on all of them a week, which is fantastic. So for the first time doing it, hopefully we'll be able to do it again next season with Coach. So let me bring Coach on. I'm experimenting tonight with a new software. So, Coach, let me just flip us here. Let's see.
Got something on my shirt.
Let me flip this. There we go. We're gonna roll with this one tonight. We're gonna roll with the Fear of the Moose up on top tonight.
All right.
And well, Coach, it's we're down to the last one.
How'd that happen?
I have no idea. Football, I'm sure it goes even faster for you once you're into the season. You guys officially start, and the year just goes by so fast. But I would imagine once you're in the middle of it, like you guys were, it goes fast.
It really does. You get in that routine, and you're like in your own little bubble, and you love it. It takes a little bit to kind of transition, and all of us going back and making sure we're good husbands and having a good holiday here with Thanksgiving, and then quickly, it's no rest for the weary, right? You got to go recruit, got to go hit the pavement.
So, Coach, let's talk about the game last week. And as I said to you a little bit before we came on live, as you guys got down behind early here to start the game, and you guys battled back as expected. You guys have done it all season, but you guys got off to a little bit of a slow start. You guys were down, I think it was 19-7 at half.
It was, we're in a real big kind of momentum. There were a couple of big momentum shifters in the game where we needed to swing it back our way. And like one was where we had a great punt. We punted down to the 1, and then we let them drive and we let them out of the black zone. And then they went and scored before half. Right. And like, that's the thing that we like to do, right? That's why we defer. Hey, let's score before half. We're getting the ball to start the second half. And, but I tell you, the game lived up to all expectations as far as like 2 very good teams. It really felt like an NCAA playoff game, and it's a game, not to not include some games, but if you were to like highlight 4 or 5 games from the season and it really kind of go at those films that really kind of felt like playoff games, and those are those games that in some cases we were able to win, whether it been a Brockport or W&J, and in some places we lost, like a Hobart or in this game with Rowan. So, but it was a great game, great game. Like we were coming firing back, and then we again another, not like from the offensive perspective, like we get a great surprise onside kick. Nico Duarte, he's like so good at that, right? They were back at 15 yards and almost does it like it's easy, right? Like the ball at 11 yards just pops up into his arms, and then we didn't take advantage of that, right? We had a turnover right there, so that was a tough scenario. There's another time in the third quarter where we're driving down and we gave it over on down. So like, next thing you know, we feel like, all right, we got to throw the ball a lot more to kind of get back in the game. And geez, we did. And, you hate to say it. And you talk to the guys, like you have to play above a call, but man, we may need to get instant replay, I think, in the umpire rate. I think in our conference call, I'm going to call for it because we had a good shot of Lorenzo Velez. And geez, I really thought he was in. Both feet were in to win the game. We're out there to go kick the extra point, but it was a great back and forth game. They blocked the field goal. We blocked the field goal and extra point. They're a good physical team. Their number 28 was a good running back who's tough to tackle. Just kind of slipped away from us. But it was a heck of a football game. We had a nice crowd, and certainly a game that leaves a bittersweet taste in your mouth. It's one that the guys that are coming back, which we have a lot of guys, we could talk about that too. A lot of guys coming back, like on our field at home, first time to watch the other team get the trophy. That's a tough one, right? And that's just great motivation into the offseason is what it is for all of us, for the coaches and for our players. no different than like Grove City. We go down to Grove City, they kind of kicked our teeth in. We got our act together. We put the work in and fouled it up with the 10-win season, right? So like, certainly very frustrating and love our seniors and a tough way for them to finish. But it was a great game, no doubt.
Coach, your defense on the back end, the secondary, Eli, Douglas, and Mason were all over the place for you guys, and I think you held them under 200 yards passing. Talk to us about those two big days for both of them.
They did. They played really well. They were certainly had a game plan to run more on the perimeter. In the first half, it was more on the boundary. In the second half, they kind of ran more to the field. We did a much better on defense in the second half. We held them to the one score. To kind of give ourselves a chance, fighting chance there in the second half. So, defense kind of cleaned some things up there from the first half and gave us a chance to win.
Your three-headed monsters on the outside didn't disappoint either. Big players make big plays in big games. And Antonio, 9 catches for $123. Logan had 10 catches for $108. Bryce had 11 catches for 58. He broke the single season record, an Empire 8 record, with 1,026. 91 catches for over 1,000 yards. So those three guys didn't disappoint at all.
Not at all. No, I played amazing. Played tough, physical. Great effort. I know we didn't run the ball as much as we would have liked. Eze, when great in protection. The runs he had did really well. It was a battle. It was a on our turf, and our guys got the feel of what. Hey, like our coaches too. Like, all right. Who are you playing? You don't know who you're playing. Boom. You got 3 tapes. You got 3 films. You got to figure it out in that week, right? And that's where like playoff football, right? We're going to be better for it for sure. Like you look back on the season and the teams we've played in the regular season and Rowan in the postseason. It's certainly a higher level of caliber than say 10 years ago. The teams were playing overall week in and week out, and you want to be great. You got to play great opponents and. I think we certainly have done that, and the guys kind of know, hey, this is what it looks like when Utica football, when we're on and we're playing well. These are some mistakes. Like we had some really bad penalties. There were some offsetting penalties that I was mad about. We're like, we need to walk away so they get the 15-yard penalty. So some things that certainly we want to work on, but those kind of games are the ones that are going to make you better, right? Sometimes you learn the most when you take a tough loss. Sometimes, unfortunately.
And Coach Tyler ended up setting the records for completions, yards, and 33 touchdowns, and he had over a 67% completion. He threw for 357 and 3 scores, and I know we've talked about him all year, but when you put him with those 3 guys you have on the outside and Logan in that mix, man, that group's been special all season for you guys.
Well, no doubt, so glad that Tyler and his family decided to come to Utica last winter. He's a great young man. He really fits us. We tease him, a tough Polish kid that fits in Utica, New York, and certainly can throw the football, but so many other levels. Like he's a strong leader. He's a confident guy. And it was great. For those that are wondering, him and I had a meeting today and told me that he'll be back for 2026. And, we're really excited about that, with the funny Division I rules versus Division III. He's got to work a little something out with the student teaching, kind of break it up so he can have that 10th semester with us. And then we're hoping that will kind of trickle a domino effect with Logan Frederick, who has another year left. That would be great. Mason Payton, number 15, starting corner, and Gavin Gretz are all guys that have that extra year. And we certainly want all those guys to take it, So the first thing I told Tyler is now it's your job to help us, recruit our 5th-year guys and make sure they stay. And then, help us in the recruiting process. So that was some good news today for sure.
And Coach, talk to us a little bit too. You got your seniors on the O-line. I think you have Carson and Malzahn. I think are your only 2 seniors. I could be wrong, but I think they're the only 2 seniors. But that group again, 6 consecutive game, and you had a lot of guys in units that were recognized with the Empire 8 awards here at the end of the season. But talk to us another game where the quarterback was upright the entire game.
And like that, we threw it 63 times, which is a bit, right? But and not sacked. I mean, it wasn't because Rowan wasn't blitzing and twisting us. You know what I mean? So, Carson, you got to love these guys. Not everyone's built to have patience and wait, right? And it's just a great lesson for young guys. You know what I mean? That whether they want to leave or transfer or decide not to play like at any place. And, Carson, this is his first year starting at center and did a great job at center. Great job. Physical therapy major. Malzahn, this was his first year, and he kind of played all over. He played some center, some guard. Really at the end of spring, we kind of made that decision that, this guy's going to be our starting right tackle. Had a great year. Going to miss those guys. They really, the fact that they made the national team of the week was amazing. Like we have we haven't put it out yet. But there's a picture. We have a bulletin board outside a locker room, old school bulletin board. And Lambert Jordan gives us like a little cardstock color when the graphics come out. And this has to be by far the most decorated team in our program's history, between the D3 National Team of the Week,
the
Empire 8 Players of the Week. It was pretty amazing. The records that we've broke. Our defense ended up being one of the top defenses in the country and in the Empire 8. And usually that's something that just Brockport's always been, right, or Cortland, and we were right there. I think either first or second in some categories, but really came to play. And just I think overall, you got to go back and very quickly look at like last year. 5-5, very disappointing. We know one more win and we're going to another bowl game. But really like this team, and I have to mention, it was a tough way to end last year as far as, we lost one of our own, you know what I mean? And our guys really, dedicated this season to James Salas and kind of did it in our own kind of, I don't want to say quiet, but our own classy way with the approval of his parents, and like, I don't know if you saw, but all the little hash marks on the 12 had orange U around them on our field, right? We locked arms every home game and made sure that our PA announcer read a thing about James and for mental health, and like, when we beat Fisher to kind of salvage, a 5-5 year and still maybe get a bowl game. And then like that prayer with Fisher at the end of the game, that was a pretty emotional game. Because we had lost James and right around that time, and just the way our guys played and came together. Like I told them in the team meeting, I said, Utica football is back to where it's supposed to be. And that, we finished second in the Empire 8. We got to, again, continued to make history, right? And we kind of like chip away at it, right? It's not all at once, but we finally earned the opportunity to host an ECAC game, which was a big deal for us. And our school did a great job with that. Kudos to Coach Saint and Coach Renee and our administration did a great job and just, didn't go our way. But when I saw like a lot of the young guys after the game or guys that are coming back, like you just see, like they know that this is a good football team and we're going to build off of this season. And it was great to get back to the 8 wins and great to get back to postseason. And now they know that fine. We're talking about, not just having a successful season, but the difference between, okay, X, Y, and Z, how are we a top 25 team? How are we a top 10 team in the country? Which is exciting to talk about, and it's not just talk, like based upon who we played this year and how we played, the guys know that it's not just hoping and wishing to be, it's like, we know that's something that's attainable.
So Coach, when you look back at the season as a whole, what's the first word or maybe the emotion that comes to mind for you?
I gotta say fun. These guys were fun. They brought juice to practice. I mean, we're out there on a Wednesday. It's pouring sideways rain. I think that week we were playing someone that we were pretty confident we were going to beat. And our guys are out there singing and dancing and working hard. There's a lot of fun. We've got some guys with a lot of, and like the Nick DeForest and Matt Polaris, to name a couple of guys that we back, like the energy they bring to practice, it just is contagious, and spreads throughout the team. The way that they, if you were to talk to like a couple of the freshmen who played, like an Austin DeGroat or a Christian Parham-Roan, and you hear how those guys talk about the upperclassmen and being a part of it, like, those guys are emotional. LaFarrell Hines, emotional after this last game, like, they're hungry for more, and so it definitely was fun. And at times we were a little, I would say a little young. I didn't want them to know that. But I think at times that showed a little immaturity. We got to mature more. That starts with me, holding those guys accountable. But it's going to be fun. Like there's so many guys when we got in the bus to W&J that never played and never had an overnight trip. And I did not tell them that, Rock. Okay. Just go play the game. Right. And, that's going to be a wild week 1 game, right? W&J coming here. So, it'll be interesting. We've got some, it's the same schedule next year, obviously flipped home and away. And those home games are teams like W&J, Hobart, Cortland, Brockport, right? So like, all right, giddy up, giddy up. It's, as we talked about the New York D3 football. So,
yeah.
Our young guys, I was so pleased. A difference this year is we had 7 JV games, so the people behind the scenes know that, but I mean, that's at least 3 or 4 more games than most schools. And then some schools maybe don't play JV or only play a game or 2. So there's some really good young talent that's going to come up from the JVs and fill some holes on guys, offense, defense, and special teams wise for sure. So that was tough because they're all the things that we want, right? We want to order rings and we want the championship poster, like you can see behind me here. We want to be in the Utica. We're not going to be in the Utica St. Patrick's Day Parade. I got the email the other day. We're not walking because we didn't win the game, right? So those are things we want for our program. So we're definitely going to be hungry as we go into the off season. But like right now, they all know me. They know me. It's like get home for Thanksgiving, spend time with your family. But they know 2026 has already started for them with our team meeting on Monday that we had. And they'll get in the weight room next week a little bit too.
So, Coach, I know you had a lot of defining moments this season for you guys. Is there a certain game or a moment you feel shifted the momentum for the season?
Well, that's a good question. No, I can't say that. I think no doubt that the W&J and RPI games collectively gave us some confidence, right? So we were, maybe some younger teams, going to some place and be intimidated, right? And we did. We came to play. You know what I mean? And I can't say that. I think the biggest thing I talk to the guys about is football. We go from like the Brockport win being like on cloud 9, amazing win on the road, all these crazy conditions. And then you talk about the agony of defeat at home. We got to win that home game. We got to find a way to win that game. But that's what football teaches all of us. And, I don't know if there was one really defining moment. They knew after that second loss that we needed to win out to have a chance to go to the tournament or have a chance to have a home game right from the beginning. So there was no surprise. And they knew it was out of our hands. And they knew that Hopkins losing didn't help us. And they knew Cortland and RPI losing didn't help us, right? Maybe we would have snuck in there, which would have been amazing. But at the end of the day, we needed to beat Hobart. We needed to win the conference, right? We needed to beat Cortland. And, I think, again, as you look at those games and any given Saturday in the Umpire 8, you better come to play, right? I told him, I said, Morrisville, they get the ball back, and technically that was to drive to win the game, and we just stopped them, right? And Morrisville didn't win the game this year. They're a really good football team. They have good players. Just they had a tough year. It happens. Within Hartwick, we come to play, we play better, and then we have the result. If you think you're going to do that, you certainly don't. But if you execute at a high level and do things the right way, all of a sudden you look at the scoreboard and you're like, wow, look at that. And I really think our guys learned a lot. I think that's one thing I would talk about. These guys did learn a lot about, even like Tyler, first time in the Umpire 8, and he learned that teams come to play, and it's going to be pretty exciting to see how he's going to improve in our football program, which you could still how do you improve from being offensive player of the year? Well, he's a very competitive guy, and has a little bad taste in his mouth after losing that bowl game that we had an opportunity to win. So I think a lot of our guys have learned that hadn't played in big games. We've played in some big games that we can learn from and take in the off season.
And Coach, you might have answered this question already. I think you guys are going to graduate 21 or 22 seniors, I think is what my number was. I don't know if that sounds right or if I'm close.
You're close.
I know you talked about the team and it was a fun group, but is there a certain thing you'll remember the most about just the senior class? Again, the season that you guys had, you broke a lot of records. Offense was the best in the conference. Defense was right there. All the awards. Is there something you'll remember most about this class?
I mean, they're just some tough, gritty kids. I mean, Bryce Palmer, you know what I mean? Like, you felt like, just fighting through this season, to put together a full season. kind of riddled with injuries over the last couple years. It was just great to see him, even through the season, fight through some things. I think Antonio Cianfrani coming back, from tearing his ACL, right, and coming back from that. A lot of people would say, oh, you want to be a cop or a trooper, you got to take care of your body, and I don't like when people like, what are you talking about? Like, we do all these crazy things in our lives. We go skiing, we get on a snowmobile, we do all these dangerous things, and people for some reason are worried about football. Like, these guys need football. They have an extra year of eligibility. They know if they come to my office, I'm going to tell them you got to find a way to use it, right? Because you're not playing football when you're old and gray like me. There's no pickup football. And so every time you get a chance to play this game, you want to take advantage of it. So I think of those two guys for sure. I think, a guy, an unsung hero guy like a Vinny Bernardo, right? That like was a linebacker, wasn't working at linebacker, asked to move to tight end. And then his senior year earns a spot in a Raven package, which was very successful. Was a very, very good special teams player. I would tease him and call him like he's my Vince Papale out there. But like, he had, just a great, got to carry the flag out, at the last game, like just tremendous human being. Like, that's going to make him such a better person in life that he stuck it out his 4 years, even though he wasn't always a starter, and then had a senior year to remember, for sure. Certainly, again, one of our best programs we've had in our school history, right? One of our best teams, I should say. I can remember just so many alumni going, Coach, it's not the old days as far as the non-league schedule. Holy cow, you're playing some guys, right? And then even in the bowl game, a couple of the guys were like, what happened to when Ithaca was the 1 seed and then we had to go play Ithaca as the last seed, right? And then we finally go and get a home game, and now they want to change how they do things, and that's fine, which they're happened for a reason, right? Like, I told the Rowan coach I thought he should have had a home game. Like, what do you got to do to get a home game in the ECAC? I'm going to call and tease him a little bit, like, and then you see, Hobart and Brockport got home games, and the coach from Rowan, like, throw the NJAC a bone here, right? We want those guys to put in for ECACs, but sorry, I'm speaking my mind a little bit more than maybe I've made normal, but made normally. But so we right 2 years ago we're 8-2, and they send us to Hobart. Like, what do we got to do? So we were certainly excited and fired up to host, and again, we're program's in a good place, and the kids are excited about where we're headed. They talk with a few of them in the office today.
And Coach, I think you already got this one too, this answer to my question. But as far as the program growth, as you said, you told the team that the program's back, we're heading in the right direction after this season, and you set the bar this season and so high coming in next year. That group coming in next year has got a lot of work to do to even build from there. But what identity did this team establish for future next year's team, and even recruits coming in? What did this team set for those kids coming in?
I just think you're dealing with adversity, right? And just if you were to hear, after every practice, we have one of our players talk to the team, and just the amazing things and words of wisdom they have for the younger players, and they've all had those tough times their freshman year and sophomore year, and here they are as a junior, senior starter, or playing for the first time or contributing, and just encouraging those younger guys to stick with it when it seems tough, when it's tough, you're getting your butt beat in the scout team, and we've all been there, and I think that's what makes our guys different, is just watch how much they care about each other and the program, and you can see it when you hear them talk about the program, whether it be after practice or in our Friday night meetings, which are pretty special. I think it's always about relationships, and it's the relationships that they have with each other, that they play with each other and they have with the coaches. So.
And Coach, I know every year is different for the coaches, and I wanted to ask you this one. Did you learn anything different about yourself this year with this group? I know you're the old guy, right? You said at the start of the season, Coach, and did you learn anything different this year?
I thought in the special teams meeting, which I've been running, I just thanked the group, because the last few years I've had someone else on staff from Coach Lemon, who's the OC at Fairmont State now, Joey Lapani, who's back at his high school at Hilton, Brandon Woods, that's coaching at Bethune-Cookman. Those were our last 3 special teams coordinators. And that certainly takes a lot off your plate. And I was always involved, right? But there's a lot of work in there. And so having to take that on so that, offensive and defensive coaches didn't have to worry about it as much, although they all have a part, was something I really enjoyed, you know what I mean? And enjoyed, working with those guys and the game plans week to week. And then our young grad assistants certainly helped me with the game, making the scout reports every week. And, that was something for me to get back doing. Is at the end of the day, I love coaching. There was one year where I was more of a manager type guy and walk around and coach the running backs. I was miserable. And my good friend John Snell, who's the chair of the NCAA committee, him and I were talking at a Stag Bowl. He's like, at the end of the day, he goes, as a head coach, what do you do best and what makes you happy? He goes, if you're happy, everyone else is happy. And you surround yourself with people that do the things that you're not as good at. And some of the best advice I've ever got, from any coach. And so I enjoy coaching that D line, and they played their butts off this year. They really did. I enjoy coaching the special teams more so this year than I had in other years. We changed our practice schedule so I could coach the long snappers, but then also still coach special teams, because the way we used to do it, I was never at the stations because that's when we would do long snappers. So we actually changed our whole practice schedule around. And kind of stole it from the guys down at Colgate. I don't mind saying that. And kind of liked how they were doing things. And so I think that's something that I learned. I just enjoy working with the guys and love going to practice.
So, Coach, what would you like to say for the Pioneer Nation, the Pioneer fans this year? And your fans have been outstanding, whether it's at the games, on social media that have backed you guys, supported you guys. Even on this show, I think I've gained more fans when I see people now. They say, you're the guy that was doing the show with Coach. What would you like to say to all those people?
From the bottom of my heart, thank you. We got, Pioneer Nation, our 12-man tailgate, our parents, our family, our community support. We had tremendous community support with our corporate sponsorships and the partnerships we have with some of the local groups, and just creating memories. I just saw I didn't realize we were going to be in the new First Source commercial. So make sure you check out that was wild. That was wild. So Utica football is in the First Source commercial. I didn't know that was going to happen. I think, just thank you. Like, we have such a great game day atmosphere. We have such a great tailgate. Our parents do a great job. We had a group of moms that were taking pictures. We have to be the most photographed team in Division III. And so thank you to that squad of moms. Did a great job. I was talking to Gavin Gretsch's mom today because we want Gavin to come back. And I said, well, we're not just recruiting the right guard, we're recruiting one of our 12th-man parents. So she was laughing. So, and then all the alums, like, I can't tell you guys enough that you guys that are listening, that when you shoot me that text on Friday night or Saturday morning, or Facebook message, like that's what I live for, those things. And that's why I coach. So, guys, keep doing that, keep doing that for sure.
So, Coach, I'm going to have to I have games for us to pick, and I'm going to have to shoot you next week, and I'm going to post them up on social media, who wins this thing, because we are deadlocked. Yeah. We are 30.
That's wild. I saw that. We're tied.
5. So
There's no way I would have bet that I'd be tied. Not that I'm saying that you did a bad job, Rock. I'm just saying that knowing myself, and I don't pay attention. You pay attention, okay? I don't pay attention.
Well, that's what makes me feel even worse, that I am the guy who pays attention.
It's straight luck, okay? Maybe I catch.
We both won the Syracuse game. We both won that game. I think they didn't cover the 37.5 or whatever it was. But I got a lot of big games. It's rivalry week here. I know my household will be on separate couches on Saturday for Michigan, Ohio State. Old Miss is the Egg Bowl. Old Miss, Mississippi State. All the hype around Lane Kiffin. A lot of people are saying maybe Lane's the biggest troll right now, getting more attention. He's going to say he's going to stay at Ole Miss. This one's at Mississippi State. Mississippi State is getting 7.5 at home. You think the distractions are too much and Mississippi State gets them?
No, I go Ole Miss.
Yeah, I'm with you. You think he's going to leave, or you think he's going to stay?
Gee, listen, that's about as predictable as, right? Like, some of the moves that he's made, right? And some of the I watched the thing on him recently about that. Pretty wild, and I think it's just so hard to, like, you don't know. I mean, the only people knows him and his family, right? And there's different reasons why you make those kinds of decisions. A lot of times it's that you're trying to do what's best for your family, or they want to live in a certain part of the country, or they have family somewhere. I'd like to think, and maybe I'm wrong, but that goes into decisions, and it's not just about the money. But
I mean,
they're throwing around a lot of money these days.
At this point, though, for him, it's like, how much more money can you get? He's got Ole Miss going to the playoff. I think what would be even worse is if they win this game and after the game they announce and say he's got to go talk to the team and say, guys, I'm leaving. I'm going to LSU. And by the way, they're going to play LSU next year, Ole Miss. And it's like he might not even coach the team through the playoffs. I'm like, I don't know how you do that. But again, I'm hearing LSU's going to offer him $95 million. I think he stays, but that's a lot of money, man.
That's crazy. You can't even imagine the amount of money that's in college football right now. It's crazy.
No. All right, the other one, Georgia Tech. So Georgia Tech just had the loss to Pitt. So Narduzzi had said that he didn't care if Notre Dame beat him by 100. He needs to win the last two, which he did. Pitt was ready to play last week against Georgia Tech, but they're a 13.5-point underdog at home to Georgia. That's a lot of points in a rivalry game. I don't know what happened to them last week. They didn't look very good against Pitt. Maybe they were overlooking, that game because of this game. I don't know if they can beat Georgia. I think Georgia right now is playing as good as anybody. But that's a lot of. I know we're not picking a spread in this game, but I think
right.
I think beat them last year.
If there was going to be an upset, this would be the one. So this will be the one that I'm going to take you on, or you'll beat me because I'm going to go Georgia Tech. How's that?
Are you? All right. I'm the opposite. I think we're going to be opposite on a couple other ones. I know we're going to go on a couple of these games, I think, but I'm going to take Georgia. I think they're playing really good right now. I think they're peaking at the right time. This one could be a trap game because I think if Arch Manning plays like he's been the last 2 weeks, he looked really good last week. Now they were playing Arkansas. This one's in Texas. Texas is only a 2.5-point dog to A&M, who's 11-0, and I think A&M wins. They're in the SEC title game. If they lose, I think there's a shot that if Ole Miss wins, they're in against Georgia. But any chance that Texas pulls one out here? And many think if they win and get the 9 wins with this win, they might sneak into the playoffs somehow. I like A&M. I don't think Texas can beat them.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think on this one I'll go A&M.
Yeah. Okay. I'm with you. But I could see this one if Arch plays well. Texas has the athletes, that's for sure. But we'll see.
Look at these rivalry games. A lot of times, those point spreads, like they could be a one score. Like Georgia beats Georgia Tech. I don't think it'll be more than a score.
No, me neither. I think these games are all going to be, and they're all pretty decent spreads.
Yeah.
Here's another one. I haven't followed Arizona all year. Arizona State was close last week to Colorado until they pulled away late. Arizona State's +1.5 at home. I like State in this game, but I don't know too much about Arizona this year.
Because I don't know much about either team, I'm just going to go with the ranked home team, Arizona State.
Yeah. I'm with you. This is like one of the ones I really don't
know. They're on way too late.
Yeah. All right, this is the one in my household that so this line, Michigan is now, this line went down to 9.5 since I updated stuff last night. Michigan looked good last week. Bryce Underwood's looked better for Michigan. Ohio State's looked like a well-oiled machine that they haven't played one close game all year. I'll say they really haven't played anybody yet because they didn't have to play Oregon this year. They didn't have to play USC.
Right.
But they're a 10.5-point favorite against Michigan. Michigan's at home. Can Michigan win this one again for the 5th consecutive year?
No, Ohio State's going to win this.
So I'm going to pick with my heart. So I'm going to probably give you a layup here. I'm going to pick Michigan. I can't go against Michigan.
Okay.
But last year, Coach, Michigan was a 24-point underdog and won the game. So you never know. And I think it's supposed to snow a little bit. Ohio State's 2 receivers there, the Jeremiah Smith and Cardell Tate, both did not play last week. I'm sure they're going to play this week. I'm sure they'll find a way to get them on the field. But right now they're questionable for that game. All right, we got 2 more games here. So Pitt looked really good last week against Georgia Tech, who I thought Georgia Tech would win that game. Miami looked really good last week. Miami needs some help if they beat Pitt to get into the ACC title game. And this is another one of those, Coach. 6.5-point dogs at home The way Pitt's physical. Can Pitt get them at home, or you like Miami? This is a tough game.
Well, I think the home field advantage is such a big thing. I'll go Miami.
Oh man, I really want to pick Pitt because they're physical. They looked really good last week, but Miami's looked really good the last couple weeks, and I think Miami's on a mission to get in and find a way in. I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go Miami. And then the last one, actually second to last one. I got more on here because we got to find some wins and losses to break this tie. This is another one. This is a good one, too. So Tennessee's minus 2.5. So Vandy's getting 2.5 in this game. It's at Tennessee. I like Josh Heupel, but, man, Vandy's on a mission, too, to win 10 games at Vanderbilt. Is crazy. They used to be the bottom of the SEC, and then James Franklin took Vandy, won some games, and then he left. And, man, they've looked pretty good this year. You think Vandy gets this done?
And then NIL showed up.
And then the NIL showed up.
You know, Vandy's a great school. They have some great alumni. You know, like it's a just change the game. This will be interesting to see where you pick because we could differ. I'm going to go Vandy.
Yeah, I hate to say I'm with you on this one, but I like Vandy as well to go in there. I don't know if Vandy's ever went in there and beaten Tennessee. I don't think they have, but
Okay.
I feel like Tennessee's kind of like an under-the-radar team. I don't think Josh Heupel gets enough credit. I think he's a great football coach. All right, last one, the Iron Bowl. Auburn. This is a weird line to me if you follow gambling and lines. Auburn fires Hugh Freeze. They're looking for a coach. They're under 500. They're only getting 5.5 at home to Alabama. Any chance Auburn finds a way?
No, Alabama.
Yeah, I'm with you. But I do keep hearing, Coach, that I keep hearing that Kalen DeBoer is a candidate at Penn State. I don't know if I buy it. I talked highly of Bob Chesney, who used to be at Holy Cross.
Bob Chesney's outstanding.
He's
outstanding head coach, no doubt.
Yeah, he's the one that I keep hearing, unless they give it to Terry Smith, the interim head coach for Penn State, who, man, it was like out of a movie Saturday night for Penn State. They were chanting, we want Terry, we want Terry. And he played there. The alumni want him, but I don't know if he's the flashy guy for Penn State. You think he gets a shot at it? I know they're going to interview him.
That's good. Like, you never know. You don't know what the school's looking for. That's the thing you don't know. What's the people that hold the control, the big time boosters, the athletic department, the AD, the president. What are they looking for? Are they looking for a leader? Are they looking for a play caller? Someone's going to get them that star quarterback recruit kind of thing, that's been a trend for sure.
Yep.
It's hard to only they know what they're looking for.
Coach, I gave Coach Fitz. I told him to give you a shout out that Coach Foz picked you all season in the picks. So I picked up a couple games, and I said, I got to be honest with you, I didn't pick you. But he was great last Sunday on the show, and he had another win. They ended on a good note, so he's got them going in the right direction.
He did. They're it's not going to take them long at all. So I know they're recruiting very well, and I think it's really exciting that the matching of the time of we have some really good local players that can play at that level, and that are choosing to go play at Colgate for guys that I know and trust that are going to do a great job. And I think anytime you can get that's going to help your crowds. You know what I mean? That's going to be great for home games. And so,
yeah,
excited to watch, guys like Kevin George, play there someday for sure.
So, Coach, closing thoughts from you on the season, and the show's been fun. Again, I know I thanked you last week, but hopefully we'll get a chance to do this again next year. I hope we get a chance to maybe talk in the spring, heading into spring ball with you. But again, I mean it. I can't thank you enough. You helped me go inside the program, which was great, and build a lot of relationships outside with a lot of people I didn't know. And I really, really can't thank you enough, Coach.
Feelings mutual. Definitely got to, we have to do this in the future. I think doing something in the spring would be great. Kind of give you an idea on some recruits that we can talk about that are coming in and how spring practice is going. I want to thank my coaching staff. I can't do it alone. I have a tremendous coaching staff. Coach Klaus, Coach Zenilovic, Coach McClendon, our 3 full-time coaches, our 4 grad assistants, Coach Kraft, Coach Polito, Coach Karras. Those guys all played for us, right? Just tremendous. Coach Gessner, we got to thank Coach Gerbino, came from Bethune-Cookman. Great job with those wideouts, right? Fifth ranked passing offense in the country, in the nation, I guess we have. It's pretty crazy. I looked at some of the stats today. And then Griffin Murphy, our running back coach, helped me a lot with special teams from Michigan. Did a great job. And like all these guys, it was their first time coaching, all 5 of them, and just did a tremendous job. Coach Oliver, love having him on staff, from VBS, and his experience and knowledge. Few times he spoke to the team this year, was just on point, and did a great job. And so we have a really, really strong coaching staff, and we had all of our young phys ed guys helping us this year, all volunteering while they were finishing their master's degree. And they all did a great job. We call them the YCA, the Young Coaches Academy. And so every year we're going to have a group of guys that are, getting their 5th year, because at Utica you get your phys ed you get your master's, your health, and your phys ed all in 5 years. And then for the longest time, our guys were like using their COVID eligibility and playing, the Novellos and Dan Amatis and Joe Lapantis of the world. But now these guys, they can coach with us and get that on their resume. So really appreciative of all those guys for sure.
And Coach, spring ball, when's the spring session start for you guys? I know you said the kids will go home, enjoy Thanksgiving. They'll get some lifts in next week. But when do you guys get back into it?
Yeah, so we're back that week. I think it's the week before Martin Luther King. I think Martin Luther King's a little later this year. Might be on the 20th or 21st. I think we're back the 15th. And we're back 1 week. And in that first week team meeting, get 2 days of weights in, and we're hosting recruits. And we always have recruits on official visits at either home basketball games or home hockey games, which are great atmospheres.
Yep.
We'll recruit, lift, and our accountability program is huge. It's a big competition amongst the team. You can gain or lose points. We encourage them. They get points for being in campus clubs and organizations, for doing community service, for going to different sporting events. It's really at the heart of what we do. And then we start to get ready for spring ball, and the spring practices don't start till after spring break, which is after St. Patty's Day. And so it comes quick.
Well, Coach, listen, I'll message you, text you throughout the off season. I'll have to put up our picks next week to see who won. I got a special little prize for the winner. So if it's you, you got something coming your way. But again, thank you so much for everything, and I know we'll be in touch throughout the off season.
Cool. Thank you so much. And as always, fear the moose, everyone.
Thanks, Coach. So that was awesome. I cannot believe that we went that long, and I'll be honest with you. I said the views, well over 40,000, which was fantastic. And the people that followed us, I've met more people that I didn't know, which is awesome. It's all about relationships. I know Coach spoke about relationships throughout the season, but it was absolutely awesome to do a show with him. And again, he's been good to me throughout the year, throughout my career, really. So I can't thank Coach enough for everything he's done. So I'll let everybody know on Sunday, we'll be talking to Colgate men's basketball coach Matt Langle is going to join me on Sunday, and I'll have a couple other local guests on the Mohawk Valley Sports Watch. So on behalf of the entire show here, the Rock Pile, the Mohawk Valley Sports Watch, I hope everybody appreciated and enjoyed Inside Utica University Football podcast with Coach Faggiano and myself. So have a good evening, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving.